today to talk about isolations. So if you're super new to hooping, an isolation is pretty much any move here where we're creating this illusion that the hoop is staying still as our arm moves around it. There are lots of things you can do here. You can do ghosting, you can do two hands, you can move it around, but what we're gonna go over right now is just this basic stationary isolation. So before we begin, there are a couple things I want to go over. Number one, the type of hoop you want to use. I would recommend using your smallest, lightest hoop because it's just going to be easier on your arm and it's going to be easier to complete this circle that you need to do. But on that note, the lighter hoops are a lot more reactionary. So if you're having a hard time keeping it smooth like this and it's jumping around too much, you might want to switch to a heavier hoop. As you can see, I'm not even perfect with it. So a heavier hoop is not going to jump around so much. So if you can't get this, it's okay to use a heavier hoop. I certainly learned to do isolations on a big dance hoop. Number two is you want some sort of reflective surface. If you have a mirror, perfect. If you have a webcam, even better, because then you can record yourself and look back at yourself and see where you maybe need to improve. And if you have neither of those things, you can even use your reflection in a window or a shadow. So get your preferred hoop, get your reflective surface, and let's begin. So to go over the fundamentals of this move, what we're trying to accomplish here is just tracing the line of this hoop. So imagine that our hand is a paintbrush and we are trying to draw this hoop. We're just tracing it here, following it all the way around. Now to start, we're gonna hold the hoop in our dominant hand. I'm right-handed, so I'm gonna go counterclockwise. If you are left-handed, you're going to go clockwise. So if you're left-handed, just reverse everything I'm doing. But most people are right-handed, so this should be okay. So get it in your hand, in the palm of your hand, and frame your torso here. So you're framing your beautiful self, like this is a picture frame. Get your head and your upper body in there. This is just the best spot for it, so you don't have to reach up too high or duck down too low. And another thing to think of is try to imagine that your shoulder is a dot in the middle of this hoop. It's not going to stay there exactly, but it's just a good thing to think of when you are trying to keep this in place. Just reference, oh yeah, I'm trying to keep my shoulder in the middle of it so it's not sort of moving all the way around. So frame your beautiful self, get the hoop hanging in your palm here, and let's get this thing started. So as I said before, we're just tracing the line of the hoop. We're trying to recreate it perfectly with our hand. So once you understand this, what's gonna happen when you get your hand all the way over here? So it's my right hand, so in my case, it's all the way to my right side. And I can't get my hand up any further. What we're going to do is let go, let it dangle on the top of our hand. Our palm is now facing down. And then we're going to grab the opposite side of the hoop, in my case, the left side. So we're tracing the line of the hoop, it's on the top of our hand, we're grabbing the left side. Now it's important to note that when you do this, you're going to want to shoot your hand over to the left side, or the opposite side. Because if you don't, and you just let it fall to the top of your hand, it's just gonna go out to that side. And while this in and of itself is a move, it's not what we're trying to do here. So I'll hold this hoop still to demonstrate in slow-mo. So we're moving our hand counterclockwise. We get all the way up to the right. We let go, roll our hand, so it's momentarily on the top of our hand, and then shoot it out to the left side. Now it's also important to note that you want to move your hand slightly up here, once again, just tracing the line of this hoop. We want to follow its arc, so the hoop doesn't fall when we shoot our hand over to that side. So that's basically it. You just have to do this over and over and over again, watch yourself do it, and eventually you'll get the hang of it. So a couple troubleshooting things that I can teach you here are to imagine that your table, imagine that your hoop is on an imaginary table. So put your hoop on your imaginary table, don't let it fall beneath that. And what you can also do is pinch it with your two fingers here very loosely, you see. Just keep your arm really firm here and gently hold on to it. So now it can't fall beneath your imaginary table and it can't move side to side. And then this sort of helps to keep it in place. Picture your shoulder in the center as a dot. Picture it on your imaginary table. Pinch it in place with this hand here, and you can just quickly let go as your hand has to pass it. And just to go over it really quickly one more time. We're holding it in our dominant hand. If you're right-handed, we're going counterclockwise, tracing the outline of this hoop. We're getting it all the way to the right side, where our palm is facing to the right now. We can't move our arm up any further. We're gonna let go, let it fall to the top of our hand, rotate our hand as we go, grab the left side. So we're tracing the hoop, we're letting go, oops, not that much. We're moving our hand to the left side. So just continue this and you are gonna get the hang of it. Just keep watching yourself in your mirror or your camera or whatever. And once you get the hang of this, you can start adding in ghosting or two hands. So there's so many places you can go with this. So get the hang of this and then come back and see me and we'll make it a little more complicated for you. Happy hooping!